So obviously, everything's connected, right? Everything's connected. The question is, how do you apply things, right? How do you apply things? How do you apply meditation? So even when I say that word, you already associate it with, bullshit. You associate it with bullshit. But what does it actually mean? And what does it actually mean in the context of a training method? Surely meditation is supposed to develop mind power, and surely that mind power is something that is fundamental, that is a universal currency that can empower any skill, right? Surely that's what it is. It's not something that only makes you really effective at being a monk, or at being celibate, or at achieving liberation, or mindfulness, or something. No. Surely, if a Shaolin monk or a Tibetan monk or an Indian guru, surely if they're enlightened, surely they would be able to easily apply that power that they have to seduction, or to game, or. But see, now even when we say game, it's still your mind is creating a visualization, and you're starting to imagine, you conceptualize, philosophize something that is an internal map of reality that does not necessarily correspond to that which is self-evident truth. Like if someone has a gun to your head, the situation is self-evident. So, of course, people will misunderstand meditation. For example, I saw one CIA dude who was saying, meditation's it's bullshit. It's a crutch. It's mindfulness. This thing that they're selling, it's just not going to work because, okay, maybe it'll give you peace, visualizing something, but the problem is it's engaging your right brain hemisphere, and your the other thing he was saying was like, the right brain, the emotional brain, is more reactionary. Emotion. Your emotional brain kicks in first when something happens in response to a stimulus, any stimulus. Whether it's a stick in the grass, and then you think it's a snake, and then you emotionally react, or there's a beautiful woman that you want to go and talk to, but what happens? Your emotional brain kicks in, and it creates approach anxiety. But if your left brain is your logical brain, which is removed from emotion, which is that if you would just consider that, if you just relax and go and talk to her, it's most likely going to be fine. Or if you just relax for a second, you see, it's just a stick in the grass. It's not a snake, for example. I guess that's a very superficial way of looking at it. And in general, he's right. Like meditation, mindfulness, it's a crutch. It's snake oil. It's bullshit. Like it's a fantasy. But what is meditation like? What is it like? Surely there is some mind power that is achieved through the original purpose of that mind body fusion. Kung Fu, Qigong. What it really is that you're trying to achieve in yoga, or these things, So actually, it's not about the left or the right brain. You're actually synchronizing both hemispheres, and you're relaxing. That you're allowing your all this electricity that's usually up here to sink down and to ground, so that you achieve some degree of cognitive suspension. So actually, these two brain waves, these two waveforms, they synchronize they synchronize and cancel each other out, and you end up with sort of opening your third eye or whatever. But see, now you're conceptualizing something, visualizing something, imagining what I'm saying, and you're generating an internal map of reality. So, but anyway, we have to kind of we need to approximate this somehow. Like, what universal power is it that you can achieve, that you need, to because obviously, if you try to apply meditation or Tai Chi or Qigong to game, to dealing effectively with women, with girls, you're probably going to fuck it up, right? So, what is it really? What is it really that how do you develop yourself in a full spectrum way with meditation? A full spectrum way, a universal way. The other thing is like the balance between the soul and the ego, and it's a nice thought to think that if I prioritize my soul and I speak to the woman's soul, then it'll be a constructive way of dealing with women. But the fact remains is that the female ego is always judging a male. They're always studying you. They're studying your looks, money, and status. They're studying how you respond to their shit testing. Can you maintain your masculine frame? They're constantly judging you. So that means that the only way to get the respect is if I engage my ego, and if I keep my ego forward and my judgment ahead of her judgment. That's the only way. Yeah, it's a nice thought that maybe if we could communicate through the soul, and yeah. But so this is what I'm learning, is that maybe it's not even productive to try and distinguish, think of it in terms of soul or ego or whatever, but just do what works, So let's go out there and do what works.